I guess. Are you going up?
Let me introduce you the fourth team, Luminoso Khwaab. Luminoso Khwaab team represents RMIT University, Australia. They are helping youth homelessness upskill using street art. Their slogan is using street art to help people on the street. Good luck, you can start.
Bonjour, good morning everyone. And we're Luminoso Khwaab and we're from Melbourne, Australia. And today we'll be talking about our company that we aim to be a socially conscious clothing. So I'm going to talk about the power of one t-shirt. And I'm going to tell you like one t-shirt can change not only one life, but multiple lives. Why a t-shirt? Well, a t-shirt is affordable, comfortable, but one of the most important aspects of a t-shirt is that it's fashionable. Celebrity icons like James Dean has iconized the t-shirt as a trademark. And people like Kanye West has managed to sell a blank white t-shirt for $300 a piece, and it's sold out in 5 minutes. Why is this important? Because a t-shirt transgresses many demographics, from a 5-year-old to a 15-year-old to a 55-year-old. A t-shirt is fashionable, accessible, and it's important that we talk about the demographic that we aim for to help, which is the 18 to 35, because we are targeting youth homelessness, something that really comes to us because we are within that demographic. And youth homelessness is something that Michael will talk about.
So, 2.3 million Australians have been homeless at some stage in their lifetime, and this number has the potential to increase significantly, with a 17% increase of overall homelessness in the last 10 years. Last year, 236,000 Australians received support from homelessness services. Studies have shown that there is an inverse relationship between homelessness and societal safety. So as homelessness increases, so does desperation levels. And with more desperation, crime increases. And this could have a significantly negative effect for cities like Melbourne, who rely so heavily on tourism. However, while studying the stats, what surprised us greatly was that 1 in 2 Australians, homeless Australians, are aged under 35. As Raz said before, this is in our demographic. And the main reason that I took upon this project is I want to provide second chances for these people and to provide them with the opportunities that we all have growing up.
And I want to put smiles on people's faces, and I want to help people in many ways that I can offer.
And I want to leverage my EMBA studies to find a creative solution to a social problem that really hits home.
And I am doing it simply because I love art and I love to help people. So I'm gonna take you through the business plan of our company. But before I do that, I'm gonna tell you why I am doing this project, why my team is doing this project, and why I love art so much. So, as growing up, my parents have been self-taught artists, so that's how I learned my art, through them. I've been self-taught and I've never taken classes in art at all. But I love art. It's a really good way of expressing yourself, and it's a really good way of exploring yourself as well. So I'm going to ask you a question. What does art mean to you in one word?
One word, difficult.
It is very difficult.
Creativity.
Creativity. What about you?
I was going to say creative. I'll try to be creative. Expression, self-expression.
Self-expression. Great.
Affect.
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 Affect. Okay. What about our audience here? What about you?
I would say happiness.
Happiness.
Freedom.
freedom. Wow. So many great words. The one I relate to the most is self-expression. And art, when an artist creates it, it may mean something to him, but it means completely different to you. It's very subjective. And this is why I love art so much, because it represents not the artist's thinking, but your expression, your reflection, and the way you see the world. So, we're not just talking about art that is represented on the street, that's stick figures. We're talking about good quality art. Now, I'm going to take you through what we're going to do as a solution. Our business plan is to pick these designs off the street. Me and my team, when we went around the streets of Melbourne, we saw that people pass these artists, but they don't really pay attention to them, even though their quality of work is exceptional. So we want to select these artists and help them give a platform, an online platform, to print their t-shirts, reach people more. We will print their t-shirts, we will sell them, and out of our the revenue we make, 10% will go back to these artists, and 20% of the revenue will go into upskilling them. Upskilling can mean anything from creating art, developing their art, or it could also mean professional skills like marketing or talking skills. So that's how we want to help these people get out of their situation that they're currently in, if they wish to. And that's how we generate revenue as well. These designs will be promoted online, and that's how we create a closed loop to generate awareness as well as revenue. So our partners include, we've talked to one of our artists. He's called Berserk in Melbourne. That's his street name. And he's already really willing to come on board as soon as we are ready to print t-shirts. We also want to collaborate with other projects. For example, Youth Project is a foundation that works with homeless youth in expressing themselves through art. So they're not doing what we are doing. That's the good part. But we want to collaborate with them because they already have teachers that are helping youth homelessness and art. We don't want to just stick to that though, so we are going to also try and collaborate with Australian Drug Foundation, which will help us help the homeless stay away from drugs and alcohol and stay away from that everyday depression and anxiety. Homies will help us sell our product more than just as if we would just by selling it online. And yeah. So now Yvette is going to go through why street art.
So before I start with why we have chosen street art to help the youth homelessness in Melbourne, art in general, as some of you guys have known, is an expression, it could be a statement, and often has a story behind it associated with it. And while street art in many cities, it used to be something that people want to get rid of, people look down, it has a negative stigma associated with it. Over the years, it has become increase in acceptance level, and some cities are beginning to embrace it. And so street art is more than just paintings and tags. And in some cities, people refer to street art as a cultural statement. It's an expression of what people believe that society change is required. And it also is a component of youth culture in certain cities. And in Melbourne, the street art culture actually originated in the 70s and 80s, where a group of youth felt disengaged and disconnected with the then system. And then that's how they started. And over time, it evolved into its current form with its unique characteristic and become a subculture of Melbourne. And that's why we have chosen our target market to be the 18 to 35 years old. And with the increase in disposable income last year, well, over the recent years, Australians' clothing retailing industry last year has made $19 billion in revenue. And of that, 36%, the segment in the industry are from 15-year-old to 34. So imagine if we can just capture 1% of the industry, how much, that would be a significant amount of money going into helping the social cause of youth homelessness. And moreover, the reason why we chose our target audience to be the millennials is because not only they are the first to fashion trends, but they're also the first to adapt and pick up new emerging trends such as socially conscious business. Not only they want to start a business, but they also want to contribute to a social cause. And so the value that we propose to our customer is a unique product with an experience. And it's more than just a shirt that they get with a story behind. In fact, when you as a customer purchase the t-shirt or our apparel, you're actually the person empowering you to be integrated and have opportunity to upskill themselves and integrate back into society. And in the long run, it actually benefits us, you as well, because we're all members of the society, and together we can make this change. And Michael will now talk about the cost.
So we've spoken with our suppliers, we've analysed data, we've benchmarked other companies, and we have determined that we can sell a t-shirt for $30 and still make a generous profit. So as Tina said before, 10% of this $30 will go towards the artist's design. So therefore, from the designs we select, it will help them get off, improve their situation. 40% is in production overheads. These overheads are printing the t-shirt, sourcing the plain t-shirt as well, and selling. And then 30% into operational overheads. This will be marketing, finance, all other like secondary activities in a business. And this, therefore, we have a 20% profit margin. This 20% profit will get broken down into repaying investors and also being recycled back into our company to improve the upskilling practices and our supply chain.
So what do we need? We have calculated for Luminoso Khwaab to get off the ground is around $20,000. And you can see the breakdown on how we're going to use that money. So primarily you can see half of it is for us to source the t-shirt and print the design that we're going to select. And another $5,000 is going to be our online system, which we use not only to promote ourselves, connect the user, but also present the stories of the individual street artists that we're going to collaborate with. However, we are not in the business of return on investment. We are more on the return of impact. For every 100 t-shirts sold, we can help one youth to get off the street by providing them an education for them to upskill and get away from alcohol and drugs. So, Luminoso Khwaab aims to assist the homeless youth by giving them more of an opportunity to practice their street art, giving them a platform so they can print their art and make it economical, viable, so they can earn an income. Secondly, we also want to highlight great works of street artists. Unlike, I would say, Montreal, from what I've talked to some people here, street art is not, I guess, accepted. However, in Melbourne, it is promoted. Certain areas by the city council, you can come every Sunday and repaint over and over. Keith Harrington, one of the most famous street artists, has a 3-story mural in Melbourne, which has been designated as a national landmark. And it's so respected that no other street artist would actually paint over that. And finally, we want to create a business model that can be replicated not only within Australia, but also worldwide, because every city have different street artists and different street people, and we want to use our business model to help them. So that's the power of one t-shirt that can change multiple lives. Enroll Luminoso Khwaab. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The time is perfect. Now it's the time for the teachers' questions. Who want to start? You want to start? Okay.
Congratulations. I invite you to go walk
Saint Lawrence, Saint Laurent Street, where there is a yearly street art festival. They paint walls and they are very quite magnificent. So
Yes, we did. We captured a few actually.
Good one.
Yes.
So. I have a little tough question.
Sure.
Why are you not wearing a t-shirt today?
We wanted to, but I, as a team leader, say we should be more street casual. I believe in democracy. I got voted down.
So $3,000 for you is enough money, because I calculated 100 t-shirts, $3 profit margin for the artist. You specifically aim to, you talk about these people, or are there another distribution of the money that is made to non-artists, homeless?
Yeah, so the business model is encapsulated, right? Youth homeless, most of them are into gangs, alcohol and drugs, but there also are the younger generation of street artists. So we want to develop a business model that kind of takes them off the street and pay them for their art. So initially, when we start the ball rolling, we will collaborate with existing street artists and give them that 10% to kind of be, beneficial for them to work with us. But then once we are able to help the youth homeless and give them some mentorship about how to manage their art, give them education with our partners, then they can contribute back with us with their art, and we reprint them so they would be able to earn money and get off the street as well. So that will be the 20% profit margin that we're going to use with our partners and provide the upskilling education for them.
But you will be basically helping like the artist.
No, the 10% is for the artists, right? So the youth homeless, once we upskill them and they contribute back into the system, they will get that 10% as well. So it's like it's a full circle. Initially, it will be the street artists that we collaborate with, so they'll get like a royalty form. But what we want to do with this whole business model, why is it's encapsulated, is because we want the youth to do their art in a more legal way.
But your public, your market segment for the people you want to help on the street are the artists, or is it everybody?
It's both. It's both.
It's both.
Yeah.
We want people who are creative and want to express themselves through art. Like, it's been proven that it's very therapeutic to help with stress and the things they face, to put their feelings down as art. But if they're not creative, we want to upskill them professionally. Eventually, we want to provide them with like marketing courses, business skills that will help them in the long term to either work with us or provide them with job opportunities.
It's simple yet flexible.
One question regarding this 20% for upskilling. It's not very clear. You can explain a little bit more. The 10% for the artist is sure, but the 20% for upskilling, it seems to me that it's the same that the profit you're going to get. Can you explain a little bit more?
Yes. So as a social business, we have that profit margin, and we've calculated our cost in the operational margin. So we foresee for at least 24 months that the profit would be redistributed to help the youth unemployment. Because it is a huge issue right now in Melbourne. There's been an increase of 50% of homeless people within the city itself within these 12 months. So whatever profit we make is not for us to keep the first 24 months, we're going to push it back to help the youth homelessness. But we have a grander idea that we did not go through because we want to make an impact right away. We want to help the Melbourne youth homeless to get off the street as soon as we can get off the ground.
You talked also about for every 100 t-shirts sold, you're going to help one homeless. Is that right?
Yes.
How do you make these estimations?
So we've talked to our partners who are NGOs, that specializes in youth unemployment, youth homelessness and unemployment education. And they say roughly on average, it takes them $300 to educate these youth homeless. Because you have to understand, like, with $300, you might not see a lot, but it's 10 contact hours for them to come in, get the right mentorship, and also for that organization to be sustainable.
Thank you, fantastic.
But at this quite cheap cost, we would expect that there are already no more homeless. What's the, how can we explain that
well,
$300
yeah,
would be sufficient?
The issue with the youth homelessness is that it's a voluntary thing. They have to attend the classes. They want to change, right? But what we provide them is if they don't want to upskill professionally, they may be able to collaborate with us and design art so they themselves be able to earn an income. As you can see, that's why that 10% is very important, not only for the street artists, but for the youth homeless to be a street artist as well. For them to say, hey, I want to work with Luminoso, come up with great design, and they will promote me. And one day, never know, I could be the next Banksy, Eno. Those are two current great street artists at the world right now.
Yeah, because at the moment there's no incentive for homeless youth to go and upskill themselves, and that's why we're seeing such an increase in gang violence. Like a few months ago, we had two youth gangs that have predominantly people between 25 and 18 have a massive brawl in the middle of Melbourne, and we feel if we could provide an incentive so they get an opportunity and an incentive to upskill themselves, that they would be more inclined to go down a more professional path instead of being captured, exploited by these gangs.
So we're sort of tempting them in a cooler way. So nothing too boring.
That's why I mentioned Kanye West can sell a blank t-shirt for $300.
How many of them would you like that work with you after 3 years maybe?
Sorry?
How many people would you like that would be working with you after 3 years?
To be honest, any one life we could change is really a massive impact to us. How many we can't project, because talking to our partners, like Hill Production, he came from a rough upbringing. He came through gangs, but now he's 38 years old. He's a legal street artist that you pay him and you can have your daughter's room be painted in street art. And it took him more than 10 years to realize, to get out of that gang mentality, alcohol abuse, to find a way to legalize. So when we talk to him about our project, he's very enthusiastic about if he had the same model when he was growing up, maybe his life would go into a different direction. Because right now there is no avenue for disassociated kids who comes from, I guess, places far away that doesn't live near the city and have that low socioeconomic upbringing, for them to express themselves correctly. And that's why we believe street art is the right expression for them. And putting it on a t-shirt, we can also approach a demographic, like Yvette is saying, who's willing to pay, who's willing to come on board into this social journey that we're trying to bring.
The time is over. Only for one question from the It's okay? Okay, it's okay. Thank you very much.